Outbound calls used to cost $5 to $10 each and required hiring expensive sales teams. AI just made them cost pennies, and this changes everything about how businesses reach out to new and existing customers. You see, I've personally built AI voice agents that have automated over 400,000 calls for businesses. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to actually build an outbound AI voice agent, whether that's a cold call or something else, that can make thousands of calls for pennies each. And this tutorial will work whether you're a business owner implementing this for your own company or an agency owner looking to actually sell this solution. First, I'll show you why outbound AI is exploding right now and the most profitable use cases for it. Then I'll show you all the tools you actually need to build one of these things yourself. And then finally, I'll build one live with you. You can follow along. And along the way, I'll share both the legal and financial mistakes I see a lot of people make and how you can avoid them. If you're new here, my name is Tommy Christ. I'm the founder of Arose AI. And on this channel, I share everything I learned actually implementing AI in real businesses through my company. So let's hop into it. All right, for today's video, I put together a quick slideshow for you guys on building an AI voice agent. But if you want one of these built for your own company, make sure to book a call down below if you want to work with me directly. So hopping into it, outbound calling just became your biggest competitive advantage as a business. And so let's think about the role phone calls play in companies is massive, especially service-based businesses or local businesses. And a lot of them rely on inbound calls. And a lot of inbound AI voice agents is what you see in the space if you look it up, other content creators like me. However, there's sort of this inbound problem, which is when you're waiting for inbound calls, you're just waiting for all the scraps from Google. You rely a lot on SEO and, as ChatGPT comes bigger, it's just a lot of question marks there. And, it's not a lot of action you can take, especially if you're a newer company. So you're reactive and not proactive, and you're really limited to whoever finds you first. But the economics of that just changed. And previously that was because inbound calls, you could spend a little bit of money and, have these consistent calls rolling in. And, your cost to acquire a new client or customer was really low because of that. Whereas if you were to make all those calls, it takes a lot of time. And if you don't want to do it yourself, it takes a lot of money to have someone else do that. So this all changed with AI, however, because AI voice agents cost just like 10 to 20 cents per call they make, even less if it's not picked up or whatever, versus $2 to $5 per call for human reps. And so that can vary a lot depending on, if they're overseas or, someone you hire locally. Plus, if you think about commissions, AI doesn't take commissions, so significantly cheaper. And you click one button and everything's automated. You don't have to teach anyone a new sales script. You don't have to worry about, firing and hiring new cold callers for your business. And, they're not limited by making one call and then waiting for that call to end and then making another. AI can make 20, 30 concurrent calls at once. So that means you can call thousands of leads within an 8-hour window every day. And so while your competitors are waiting for the phone to actually ring, they're waiting for leads to come to them, and you're already calling every qualified prospect in your market. And there's actually a lot more use cases outside of just cold calling. However, that's the one most familiar to people. And so, the people, they're probably not even going to call your competitor because you've already reached out to them. And so here are 5 ways AI voice agents pay for themselves. So use case number 1 is obviously lead qualification. So let's say your sales team actually wastes 60% of their time on unqualified leads. Instead, AI can pre-qualify every inbound call in just 2 minutes. So let's say, you have leads coming in through Google Ads or whatever. Just have AI go out, ask you a few core questions, how much revenue do you do? What are you looking for? Make sure it's someone you actually want to spend the time to hop on a call with. And that can actually save your team, 4+ hours a day. And if you're paying those reps $50 an hour, then you get $200 extra a day or $4,000 a month. Plus, if you have too much volume, that actually lets you fit a lot more into their schedule. And then use case number 2 is reminders, because missed appointments mean lost money. And so in this, the AI can actually call and text to confirm or collect extra information on whoever actually books a call with you. I have one of these for my business. If you book a call with me down below, you'll actually have a reminder agent and a lead qualification agent call you. And so let's say you get 10 appointments a day and you're able to cut no-shows by 10%, which is about a $300 value. And so over 20 days, let's say all the working days of a month, you're saving actually $6,000 and really making an extra $6,000 because you're not missing all these appointments with people, that were hot leads, but they just forgot and they just needed to be reminded. And now on to use case 3, which is accountability. And the problem here is that a lot of clients don't actually follow, coaching or fitness plans or consulting plans without constant check-ins. And if you're a business owner, that means you need to spend a lot of time and effort actually checking in. However, AI can actually do that all using daily calls or follow-up texts, asking if they've stayed on track. You can actually implement custom knowledge, such as what their actual diet plan is for that day or what workout they're supposed to do. And so let's say that helps you retain 5 extra clients a month and they're each paying, let's say, $200 a month. That's an extra $1,000 a month in revenue just by actually keeping those clients. And that actually makes, your lifetime value go up. You've already spent all the money to acquire the clients, so you may as well keep them. And here's 2 more really good use cases. Another is customer success. This is pretty similar to use case 3, but more of like an automated cadence. So think of those, welcome email sequences. Why not do that with a phone call? We can share a lot more information and be a lot more personal. And let's say that keeps 2 extra customers paying $250 a month. It's an extra $500 a month. You also implement upsells into that welcome sequence and, capture more revenue. Then lastly, for internal use, and this is for managers who lose all these hours chasing all these updates from workers. And the solution for this is that AI can actually call all the team members and, ask them a series of questions, log all those reports. And so the manager can actually save over an hour a day. Let's say they're paid $80 an hour. That comes out to about $1,600 a month in value from just this voice agent. And now let's go over these $1,000 plus mistakes to avoid. Because mistake 1, I've actually seen cost people $5,000 plus in just like a week or 2 of running a voice agent. And that's having no voicemail detection. So especially if you're making, a large amount of calls, you'll run into a lot of voicemails. And the AI actually doesn't really know the difference between a voicemail and a real human unless you activate voicemail detection on the platform I'm about to show you, Retell AI. AI will end up, talking the voicemail and wasting all this time. And when you're billed per minute, that can add up, especially when you're making thousands and thousands of calls. And then mistake number 2 is one and done calling. So instead of just loading a list and calling it all once, most people don't actually answer if it's a random number. But if they see that random number, call them back 3-4 hours later and then do that over a couple days, and it has this sort of callback cadence, most people will respond at that point. And so the fix for this is actually scheduling callbacks and multiple attempts using Chat Dash. The mistake number 3 is burning out your phone numbers, because using one phone number for hundreds of calls gets you flagged by carriers. And so you need to rotate through multiple numbers to keep calls going through. I'll also at the very end talk about the legal aspects of outbound calling using AI. And so let's actually build one of these voice agents. So here I am inside Retell AI. What I'm going to do is to create a single prompt voice agent real quick. And so with this voice agent, let's just say I want to have it call me and ask me how my day is going. So I'm going to name it, the kind voice agent outbound. It's just going to, be curious about my day. And so I have this actual GPT to create voice AI prompts, specialized to your use case. This will be linked in my school community. I'll show you how to find where the video actually is and all the resources at the very end. Let's ask this, create me a voice agent by the name of Sarah, whose sole purpose is to call me and ask how my day is going. And so you'll see it actually outputs a full voice agent prompt using, variables, and I'll show you why that's important in a second. Shows, first message, role, and everything you might need for an actual voice agent. If you're actually to put this into production, it's going to be a bit more complicated than just calling and asking how your day is going. But this GPT can actually create a pretty good prompt just to get you started, so you don't have to write out all of this on your own. And this is all trained on my actual prompt writing techniques personally. All right, perfect. So let's take this prompt, let's put it in here, take a quick look at it. And so you are Sarah, a warm, kind, and uplifting voice. You're here to check in with username. And it's in these double brackets because when you actually upload a file to make these calls, you'll have not just their phone number, but perhaps their first name and whatever information you have as a business. And it'll actually inject in this prompt. So it'll be like, check in with Tommy instead of username when you actually upload the file. So it actually knows my name when calling, which is pretty cool. And so it's prompted to, ask simple follow-ups, sort of, talk about your day and, talk about fall here. So this is, an ideal day, person who's stressed, that might be me right now. And then lastly, someone who doesn't want to talk. Now, we have this all set up. What are some of the other features we have to edit to actually, make sure this works? First, I don't want the welcome message to be that the user speaks first. I actually want the AI to start speaking after silence. And so what this means is that it'll basically wait for whoever it calls to speak first, because a lot of people pick up their phone and say, hey, this is Tommy, like, who is this? And so you don't want to interrupt them and speak over that part. So what I like to do is have it say a message like this. So I'll just get this out of here, save it, and then put this message down here and have it say user speaks first. Say this message after about 7 seconds of silence. So someone picks up the phone and doesn't speak for 7 seconds. They'll say, hey, it's Sarah, just calling to check in. How's your day going? And then if you come here also to call settings, make sure when you're making outbound calls, you have voicemail detection set up and you hang up if reaching voicemail. Now, if for whatever reason you want to leave a voicemail, you can put that here. You can do it as either a prompt saying like, hey, like, tell them to make a message based on this, or a specific sentence. But if you want to save as much money as possible, make sure to hang up when reaching voicemail. That is massive, massive, massive. I can't stress that enough. And so, boom, in just a couple of seconds, we have our outbound AI voice agent. Now, how do we actually make a call? So if you are familiar with Retell, now you can come in here, make a batch call, schedule for it when you want to run it, and upload a Google Sheet or a CSV with all the information and have it make calls. Now, what's the problem with that? You don't have the callbacks, which I was stressing before. And so what we do is we come to a platform called ChatDash. Now, I've made various tutorials on ChatDash previously. It is meant for agency owners to build, white label, and resell their AI voice agents and other chatbots. However, ChatDash has a bunch of extra features that actually lets you add to your voice agent. So if I actually come here to add an agent in ChatDash, I come here, add an agent, come to Retell, select an integration or Rose AI, select an agent. So I want the kind voice agent up here, and I don't need any knowledge base for that. So let's create this. Confirm. And now boom, you have this kind voice agent here. If I come here to clients, come to this demo client, assign it an agent. I want our kind voice agent. Assign this bad boy. And now this is all from the agency side. And so you can actually come in here, you can preview, or this could be one of your clients if you're an agency. You can come to this little campaigns tab here. It allows you to create a campaign. So I'm going to say demo campaign. And under this agent, it lets us, oops, there's no phone numbers available. So what I have to do is come over here and free up one of these phone numbers. Okay, so I goofed on one other thing, and the phone numbers here, I want to give it access to both of these. And then boom, if I now come here and preview this and create our demo campaign, we will have options to use multiple phone numbers, which is really important, like I mentioned. You can see there's a bunch of different things here that you can add. The start date, what leads you actually want to call, the actual days you want to call, the hours, the time zone. So let's say our time zone is EST, which is -4. And then the amount of retry attempts. So this is sort of your callback cadence. So let's say we want to retry 4 different times. We want it to try every 3 hours. That'll actually only call within the calling hours anyways. And so you can see I have both my phone number and the username here. And so let's give this a try. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the actual call or not because I am recording the audio with my phone, but I'll give it a shot here. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention, you have to choose your phone numbers. If you actually choose two or more phone numbers, you can choose pretty much an infinite amount. It will rotate the calls through those phone numbers to make sure it's not burning out one of them. So I'll just give it this one. So you can see I'm getting a call right now. Hello?
Hey, it's Sarah. Just calling to check in. How's your day going?
It's good. Do you know my name?
Of course. You're Tommy, right? I'm really glad to hear your day is going well. What's been the highlight so far?
And so boom, you can see it made that outbound call, and you can view a bunch of details here. If I had actually not, and so it won't call me back according to the cadence because I already picked up. If I had denied that call, it would call me back 3 hours later. And so this is really cool. You can obviously start to feel all the use cases you could build here. And I actually want to show you one last thing you can do with outbound calling, because this is obviously assuming you have a big lead list of everyone you want to call and it's not time sensitive. But what if, let's say, you have someone booking a call and you want it to call them automatically? So here we are on my own website. So let's say you wanted to work with me, you want to book a call for noon tomorrow. What it would prompt you to do is fill out all this information. So I'm just going to say test. Don't do that. If you actually book a call with me, please describe what you need. But it also asks you to fill out your phone number. And so what actually happens here, and I'll show you the function that does this in a second, is if I hit confirm here, it will schedule the call. You'll see it prompts you to watch a brief video of me, tells you, the next steps, what we'll cover, everything like that. And actually, in a minute or two here, I'm actually going to get a call on my phone. But while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go into make.com and actually show you this automation. And so you can see here, I'm actually getting a call right now.
Hi, is this Tommy?
Yeah, this is.
Hey, Tommy, it's Sarah from the team at Arose. You booked a 15-minute call with us for October 10th about voice AI development. I'm just reaching out real quick to get a bit of context so we can make the most of our time together. What got you curious about voice AI?
And so you could see just there how, this made this call, and if I didn't pick up, it would try me again 3 hours later. Now, one thing I want to add is this doesn't fit our use cases where you want to call someone automatically 1 or 2 minutes after they fill out a form or something like that. So what I want to show you is what you can do inside of an external automation tool like N8N or make.com. So you can create a function like this, which basically has a webhook, or this could be triggered by a Google form or anything like that. And then it will, parse everything here, take all the data. And so let's say this is, a website on a gym. I can actually show you the exact website for this. And so here's this website, which is directly tied to this actual automation. And basically what it does is if you fill out this form, it will make a call to you immediately. And this is all just a demo. And so if will share this actual make.com scenario and template with you in my school community, and where you can find the video, I'll show you that at the very end. But basically, this will make a call, and based on the from number and then the to number and all these variables, based on your phone, name, membership, and email, it will automatically call you as soon as you fill out this form and pitch you to actually reactivate your membership. And so you can start to see sort of all these use cases coming together, and hopefully now you have the sort of entry-level information to start building these and messing around with them. Let's talk about the legality of outbound calling. Now, if you look up the law around AI outbound calling, is you need explicit permission from people to call them using an AI voice agent. Now, there are some things I will say, and I 100% want to say, like, this is not legal advice. There's not a whole lot of precedent in people actually being charged with this. And the only cases in which people have been actually charged with this, they made millions and millions of phone calls, and it was like very clear spam and not something where you're actually adding value. And so I just want to say that there's not a whole lot of precedent about how that law is actually being enforced. But if you take it by the book, you do need explicit consent to make these calls. Now, if you want to set one of these up and you actually want to, use this in your business, which I would recommend, then you need to come to my community, Applied AI Academy. If you come to the classroom here, there are a couple of drafts here, so might look a bit different. But if you come to YouTube resources, scroll all the way at the top here, there will be a new page specifically for this video. It will have the title, it will have the thumbnail, just like you see here. And inside there, you'll have all the resources down below for you to start building. So lastly, I want to remind you, if you do want to book a call with me and work with my agency directly, please do that. And I hope you have a great day and happy building.